This Klingon computer virus is giving me a bad feeling about things. With Ja'ula and House Mokai involved, I think we're looking at a serious new effort to capture or destroy high-value Starfleet targets, ships, personnel, even entire planets. Let's rendezvous with the Buran as fast as we're able. That virus is already in her systems, and after what we just dealt with, I'm guessing the Klingons aren't done with my ship just yet.
In Star Trek Discovery, spoilers for that by the way, we learn that the Gabriel Lorca that we are introduced to in command of the titular ship is actually the Mirror Universe Lorca who swapped places with his prime counterpart during a rare transporter accident of the type that would be repeated around 11 years later. The specifics of the encounter are left ambiguous, but this is the mission that sees him replaced. With the Klingon computer virus unravelled, we're making best speed back to the Prior's World defence team in order to share the code.
Buran's in trouble. Those Klingons won't stop until she's gone. We need to get in there before it's too late.
But by the time we get there, the USS Buran is the only ship left standing and the Klingons have made a fresh push. To make things a little more complicated, an ion storm, common in this system, has set in. Flashing energies and cosmic discharges are all over. Most of our systems are insulated for the bad weather, naturally, but the finer equipment, communications, transporters and the like are in for a shaking. There are several instances where the switch between Lorcas could have happened, and I will be pointing these out as we go, as well as factors for or against their likelihood.
Mayday, Mayday, this is the USS Buran. We're taking heavy fire and need immediate assistance.
Buran, this is the Pleiades entering system and responding to your distress call.
You come to save your comrades. Honorable, if not foolish. Come and save them. If you have the courage to stand in battle against true Klingon warriors.
That's a car! Looks like he didn't run far after Ja'ula beamed him out of prison. What? No good deed goes unpunished? Now if I listened to the warden instead of saving a car, this wouldn't be happening.
You did the best you could back there, El. Commander. A car's responsible for his actions, not you. Let's focus on doing what we can to help the Buran.
If you two are going to have this conversation, do it off my bridge or join in and help. As we approach, we are intercepted by a formerly cloaked vessel and are forced to deal with it before we reach the Buran. It's here that I notice that the new explosion effects have glitched out for me. This seems to be an error with a certain older graphics card, so after checking the drivers and seeing no difference, an unofficial bug forum mentions that disabling bloom effects prevents the failed textures from appearing. So until that gets patched, I'm afraid I'm going to have to lose the lens flares.
Looks like we picked up some more Klingon attention.
As the second vessel moves to intercept us, we realise just how dangerously close to destruction the Buran is.
Shields have failed. This is a Buran. Our shields are buckling.
We're losing essential ship systems. Now would be a good time.
Getting the attention of the swarming bird of prey too. We managed to take out another, but unfortunately the damage to the Buran has gone too far.
Incoming hails from the Buran! What? The warp core! Someone's triggered the self-destruct! Oh! Oh my god! Buran! She's gone.
And Captain Lorca seemingly makes the call to scuttle the ship, complete with the crew still aboard. We have no time to process this, as the Klingons are still in the system, and now we're the ones that are going to have to take care of them. So, the first option for Lorca being switched is that he has already been replaced before we pull into the system. This is supported by the fact that the actions that the Mirror Lorca relays to us in Discovery are consistent with the actions taken here today, meaning that Mirror Lorca knew that the Buran was self-destructed to avoid capture because he was the one who did it. But I don't find this likely, because I cannot see a reason for him to beam down to Prior's World when the Klingons are in the system, and have been for a while. But does it seem like a Captain Lorca thing to do? Destroy the vessel with all hands to prevent his crew being captured and tortured? It doesn't quite jive, him being the only survivor of this event, with the no one gets left behind mentality we saw demonstrated by Captain Lorca that we knew earlier. So it could be the Lorca that destroyed the Buran had already been replaced. Or it could be that Mirror Lorca reviews the logs from other vessels at any time to catch up on the details, and it was the real Lorca who scuttled the Buran. Then again, we did overhear comm chatter that the crew could not contact Lorca just before the self-destruct went off. Could be that the Mirror Captain already set it off in secret and fled to save himself, hence the lack of response. The last Klingon ship falls, but Akar's vessel was not among them.
This can't be happening. Scan the area. Escape pods. Did she launch any escape pods? If anyone got away, we need to find them before the Klingons do.
Commander Landry, of course we're going to search for escape pods. In fact, it looks like, yes, we have at least one. We close in on the homing signal to find a single pod with a single occupant, Captain Lorca, but he is hurt.
Sickbay's reporting in. Captain Lorca needs extensive medical facilities. More than you have on board your ship. We need to get him to a starbase or to Starfleet Medical.
I understand, but now we are the defense of Prior's World. You can't exactly go anywhere.
I understand, Captain. The ion storm is getting worse and Prior's World can't be left undefended. But if you can spare just one of your shuttles, we'll get him there that way. Please? He's going to die if we don't do something, and I can't let that happen.
There is potential switch number 2. During the transport from the pod, we might have just exchanged Lorcas. Both universes' Lorcas were injured from battle, one with the Klingons and one with the Terran Empire, but this is less likely than the first option in my opinion. Can't really talk to him to confirm it either, considering the state he's in.
We'll reach the edge of the storm soon.
Don't spare the horses, Commander. I've had a lot of days better than this one.
Enemy vessel on sensors. They're targeting us.
Take evasive action.
They're firing to disable!
They want us alive.
Shields are gone. Impulse is failing.
Get us on the ground, Commander.
Crash position. Ready for impact. Any landing you can walk away from, huh? Tricorder isn't showing any serious injuries. You'll live. Atmos breathable, but this is a Class P environment. The cold doesn't kill us. The Klingons will. No way they're gonna let us go now. We need shelter, and fast.
So we have crashed down on a moon of one of the Prior's system's gas giants. We should be fortunate that we hit anything with a breathable atmosphere.
Damn. This place reminds me of some of the places my family dragged me to for a vacation back home. You really haven't lived until you go camping on Andoria. Makes this place look like Waikiki Beach.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Ensign. But those of us who didn't grow up on an ice moon aren't as amused. Emergency survival protocol. Break out the gear and supplies and find shelter. I don't want this weather finishing what the Klingons started.
On it, sir. The shuttle should have the basic survival requisitions we need. We find food, camping gear, and warm coats.
I'm reading some cave systems up on that mountainside. It might be a good place to set up camp. Maybe even a distress beacon. I can use the shuttle's emergency transporter to send Captain Lorca and another person there. Get them out of this wind and cold. It's only good for one transport, though.
I mean, he is injured, and we can make it there on foot. Yeah, you should probably do that.
Hey, while I'm thinking about it, we lost some pieces of the shuttle while we were coming down. Some of that might be useful here. We should keep an eye out for anything we can easily salvage.
Alright, I'll keep my eyes open for debris. Okay, prepare for transport. This might be a rough one. And establish a communications lock when you get there, please. This, of course, is point 3, where it could have happened. Site-to-site transports are risky at the best of times in the 23rd century, and with a failing transporter, anything could have gone wrong. However, there are issues. In this case, Kerwin wasn't replaced, but that's because there was no mirror Kerwin to take his place, so that's not a problem.
They made it. It takes guts to beam into a cave with an emergency transporter mostly held together with wishful thinking. Now, we just need to get there ourselves. The old-fashioned way, on Shank's mare, through a frozen wasteland. You take me to all the best places, Ellen.
Well, we're still alive and in the same system as USS Pleiades, and they're going to look for us eventually. But we should move for that cavern we detected. Once the Klingons locate our crash site, they'll be on us, or perhaps they'll just bomb it from orbit, actually. We should go. So we make our move. Now, the other problem with this being the swapperoo point is that Lorca was hurt when we beamed him, and he rematerializes with the same injuries.
Should we worry about leaving tracks that the Klingons can follow?
See those ice formations? Temperatures get high enough to thaw, then refreeze.
So, the snow will probably melt enough to lose our tracks in the next few hours.
Right, and if it stays cold and humid, we'll get more snow anyway.
Good news. Now we just have to worry about finding our way out of here.
I'm glad somebody brought that up. Also, I like how Thepev, being an Andorian, is the only one not wearing a thermal jacket because, well, this is only a bit chilly to him, not life-threateningly cold. So Lorca being injured pretty much rules this out as the switching point. Now you may be thinking, but we'd see a change in uniform too, surely. But that's not the case, as it seems that only biological matter is swapped when beaming in this fashion, as is in the TOS episode Mirror Mirror. Kirk and co rematerialise, complete with Terran uniforms. But this is the final transport, so from now on we are dealing with Mirror Universe Lorca.
Wait, you see those mounds of snow? Some of them are just going to be light powder, but some of those were built. Watch your step. There might be life forms in those, and they might not like unwanted guests.
Are you serious? Snow creatures? You know what? You're an Andorian. I trust you know snow.
Kerwin to team. My tricorder says there's a piece of the shuttle manifold near your position. Grab it if you can, okay? We could really use it.
I see it. It's right in the middle of those things the pair have told us not to go near. And sure enough, erupting from the mountains are scorpion-like pink snow creatures, apparently called Kokaitan beasts. These are named after the Divine Comedy's interpretation of the ninth circle of Hell, Kokaitus, which is the frozen land where traitors are imprisoned. At least that's my guess, based on the research I did for that poem in college. There is also a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them. I'm going to go ahead and say our phasers are on stun, because otherwise what we just did to those indigenous lifeforms would be very morally questionable.
We got your widget, Kerwin. Never mind the beasties.
Yeah, sometimes a strange new life doesn't want to be found.
Sorry about that. I wonder if they were staying close to it for warmth.
I doubt it, probably drawn by the commotion.
Good work. Keep it coming. We're gonna need a lot more tricks to survive.
Yeah, chin up, Landry, we'll be fine. That looks like a burrow. Good job it's caved in. Our path is more or less dictated by the terrain. The icy rocks are too sheer to climb without equipment, and I don't want to risk further injuries. At one point, we do find some more interesting formations in the ice, but fortunately they are not more of these snow lobsters. Eventually we find a mineral-rich outcropping of heated mud pools.
Fumaroles. I was wondering if we'd see any, and here they are. Look. Geothermal activity pushes heated water up and forms those bubbling mud pools. I wouldn't recommend taking a dip, though. That stuff is scalding.
Fumaroles. Got it.
Kerwin here. I'm picking up another piece of debris near you. Looks like some live circuitry survived thanks to a Duralloy shell. Can you grab it for me? Thanks.
Well, I don't see anything from here, but I reckon I know where it's going to be. Right in the middle of those fumaroles, or whatever you call them. We can see that these pools are erupting on a regular pattern as the muddy liquids below build in pressure before they splutter onto the surface. We kind of knew that this moon was geologically active, or it would have been far colder and we'd be dead already. However hot this soil, it still proves to be home to other creatures. Apparently we can't think of a clever poetically inspired name for these creatures, so we just call them fumarole worms. And this area is littered with them. Ever curious, we take some mineral readings while we are here and note that this is a rich source of various materials that we can use. Well, when I say use, I don't mean right now. They're kind of useless to us right now. You know what, let's just move on. Eventually we locate another shard of our crashed shuttle, but it has drawn the attention of more of the worms. Fortunately, it doesn't take much to deter them, and we go about our salvage. So after pressing through the mud pits, we head on. Fortunately, we probably won't have to worry about leaving tracks here either. It's either shifting mud or just rock.
Hey, you see that? Over by the rocks?
I do. Careful.
Yeah, I think it's another piece of the shuttle.
So do I. I want to salvage it, but the last two seem to have attracted the local fauna. Keep your eyes open. Well, there's another cave entrance here, but there doesn't appear to be anything else nearby. Although there are some tracks.
What are these marks in the ice? Tracks of some kind?
It's big, whatever it is. Let's not wait to find out more.
You know what? You are just full of useful information and good ideas. Let's move on. It's really cold. I think I found a cave. What a view. You know, I really like icy planets like this. Crunchy snow underfoot. This is why I joined Starfleet, not for some big war. I hope my future contains more exploring and less space battles.
Never thought I'd be happy to see a cave, but here we are. I can almost feel my toes again. This was a good choice. Defensible position, adequate shelter, picking up some water inside as well. Might be able to cobble up some fortifications by carving out some rock. Looks like they're a little deeper in the cave. If I know Kerwin, he's probably hard at work cobbling a warp core together out of rocks, a hypo spray casing, and a belt buckle.
Thanks, Chief. Sounds like a resourceful guy. Just one quick question. You said you detected water inside, then what have we been walking on this entire time? We head into the cavern that will be our shelter and are greeted by a cosy sight. There is a warm glow deep inside the cave, providing illumination, but even without that, it seems that there is a form of glowing moss or fungal plants that hangs from the ceilings. Alongside this, the far wall appears to be remarkably clean ice, and it's allowing in some natural light, but not forming a wind tunnel. Kerwin and Lorca have already set up some equipment, and it looks as if Kerwin has heated a rock with his phaser for warmth.
Captain Lorca's life signs are stable for now. His medical unit is functioning normally, and he didn't suffer any further wounds during the crash.
Well, it's good that he's still alive, at least.
Some good news for a change. Nice work, everyone. Let's set up camp. Kerwin, see if there's a way to send a coded distress beacon. To Pev, we need to know if there's anything we can use to survive around here.
Now, Patel and I can start setting up camp. I'll start by turning on the heating, shall I?
Nice. That'll be warm and cozy for a while.
Don't worry, the Pleiades will find us real quick. So yeah, we end up spending the night here, but it's all good. We've got rations, warmth, and some place to sleep, although Lorca is still stable, but he hasn't recovered from his injuries yet. Kerwin's been busy setting up the distress beacon, but it's proven to be a bit problematic, but on the plus side, so far there's been no sign of the Klingons. We then notice that Lorca wants to speak with us.
Listen, I have to count on you. Landry's competent, but this might be too much for one person to manage.
Whatever it is, you can count on me, sir. We're all in this together. Also, should we be whispering?
There we are, and we have to be prepared to fight. You and I both know it's only a matter of time before the Klingons find us. I need to know you'll be ready to make the hard call if it comes down to it.
What's your meaning, sir?
You're dealing with Klingons. There's no room for weakness. The Vulcans know this. When you face Klingons, act from a position of strength whenever possible. When they come, you need to be ready to hit them hard. Give no quarter.
Captain, I'll be ready. I've fought Klingons before. I've made a hard call before.
You have, but not like this. You might find yourself in a situation real soon where doing things by the book won't get the job done. and people depending on you will die, understand? Trust your instincts when it comes to that, not the regulations. Be prepared to make the hard call.
So it doesn't matter which option we give here. We can say that it's possible to stay true to Starfleet's way, or simply say that we won't let the Klingons win. This conversation is different from the one we had earlier with Captain Lorca, Prime One, who never left someone behind, but it's not so different that it couldn't be chalked up to injury and fatigue. Nonetheless, we reassure him that we won't let the Klingons win.
Check in on the rest of the team. They need to stay motivated.
They need to stay motivated, not are they okay. I mean, he's not wrong though. How are you doing, Patel?
It's not luxury accommodations on Ryza, but at least the cave's secure. We need some more food. If something indigenous proves to be edible, our emergency rations will get us through a few days, but that's all.
Oh, no, I wasn't asking for a situation report. I meant, how are you holding up?
I'm here. Watching the Buran go. That was a hard hit for all of us. We lost a lot of friends up there. Right now, I think we need to get warmer. This cold's taking a toll, even in the cave out of the wind. Maybe Kerwin can figure a way to insulate the walls a little.
With what? I don't see anything aside from our bunks, and he's not using mine. So go on, what's with you and Landry then?
Ellen and I have served together for some time. If you mean personally, well, let's just say that the captain is aware, and he's given us the usual speech about how personal relationships can interfere with work, and so far, he's trusted us to be professional, which we've been.
So Captain Lorca doesn't do anything about it unless it interferes with your work? I mean, it is against protocol, but I think he's right.
That's right. He's a pragmatist, and so is Ellen. She's really good at getting things done. She's not afraid to take a hard look at a tough situation and getting down to business. She tells me I have my head in the clouds sometimes, but I think she likes it, honestly.
So, sorry, you've been on my ship for the past, couple of days, but I've never actually asked, what do you do?
As Chief of Security, I do a lot of team management, strategy, and planning. My specialties are in operational readiness and field leadership. Basically, it's my job to keep every one of my people in top form, and to deploy them where their skills will do the most good.
Yeah, I did tactical too, but I went less security and more infiltration. Next, we check in with Tinkering Kerwin.
Good morning. I'm still working on this transmitter. It's pretty banged up, I'm afraid. If only we had some more spare parts, but I'll make do. And to think, I was considering becoming a holonovelist before I joined Starfleet. Good thing I picked up a few skills with transmitters and recorders.
A holonovelist? Well, you could consider writing adventure novels now, based off of primary experience. You just need a hand with any of this, by the way.
Well, if you're serious about going out in that cold again, keep your eyes peeled for metal ores and deposits. Anything with magnesium, sulfur, or other reactive ores. Stuff like that. Stuff we can burn. Speaking of ores, we could also use magnetic or radioactive ores. Those I can use for primitive power cells.
Cool, I'll go grab the radioactive rocks. I might get superpowers. But what is your specialty? I've seen you tinkering here for ages.
I'm a technical security specialist. Computer security, encryption, force field, surveillance devices, explosives, the works. It's engineering, but, without the engines. A little joke there.
Well, I'm training to be a starship captain, and I don't have a starship right now. But yeah, so how'd this all come to be?
I've actually known Landry since before we joined Starfleet. It was always something she really wanted to do. The chance to get out there, to live a bigger life. As for me, I was a video novelist for several years before she convinced me to join. I'm glad she did. On most days, anyway. Oh, and don't listen to Patel. I didn't join because I lost a bet with Landry. Honest.
I mean, even if that was true, clearly you found something worth staying for. The last one to check in with is the Pev, who appears to be mixing a drink.
I'm mixing up some nutrient broth from our supplies. Not the best smelling stuff, but it'll keep us alive. We're gonna need a lot of calories in this weather, so we should try to find more food if we can.
You think there's anything to eat out there? I mean, well, aside from the critters.
Well, we've already seen some wildlife. We're likely to find some edible fungi or mosses in the caves, and maybe some root vegetation. I don't know if I'd want to nibble on anything more complex. The contents could be dangerous to us.
I mean, the contents of some roots and some fungi can be dangerous. I'm willing to risk eating one of them land lobster thingies. But you sure know a lot about survival. What do you do?
I'm an assault team specialist, close combat, automatic weapons, squad support. If it involves mixing it up in a fight, that's in my area of expertise. Two-time Ushan champion back in my hometown. That's got me through a few scrapes with Klingons. They thought their batlets were the last word in close combat. They thought wrong.
Ushans, those are the Andorian ice picks, right? That get used in ceremonial battles? You must be pretty good.
Damn right. Combat isn't Starfleet's top priority, but sometimes we have to fight to protect what we value. The Klingons are finding out what Vulcans have known for a long time. Andorians know how to fight. We fight to win.
Cool. You gonna go back to that when you get out of here? Got any plans?
Yeah. I have a family back on Andoria. 2 wives and a husband. And we're all eagerly awaiting a young one any day now. We all knew that signing on to Starfleet would make career demands on my time, of course. But I'll be glad when this is over and I have a chance to see them again.
So it's frequently mentioned in books how Andorians have 4 sexes, but never confirmed on screen, with only vague allusions to how complicated things can get.
There was an Earthrider who wrote that young men always feel the need to get married, or get in uniform, or both at the same time. I wound up doing the latter. I just don't like leaving opportunities on the table. The chance to have a family and the chance to serve are both too important for me to let them pass by.
So a strong sense of duty then, to both family and Starfleet. Well, I'm glad you're here. You've done your part to keep us all alive, so I'll do mine to make sure you get back to your family. The last person to check in with is Landry.
Doing the rounds, eh? Making sure your team's ready for what's ahead? Good call. I'd do the same. What's ahead? Yeah. Not a lot of good news there. Stranded on a frozen rock, no rescue in sight, and the sky belongs to the Klingons right now. Klingons! Beginning to wish I'd never laid eyes on them.
I mean, we're still here, Starfleet's still here. We're gonna make it back. He'll be fine.
Good point. The captain's still alive, and Amna, Commander Patel, is still with me. Still with us. Starfleet trains us to deal with adversity. We'll figure something out. For now, let's see if we can scrape what we need to survive from this rock while we're here.
Yeah, so I'm heading out. You coming with? Alright guys, I am just nipping to the shops. Let me know if you want me to pick anything up. I intend to buy out their full stock of pillows. My ass is numb from sitting on the rocks. But as we head back out into the tundra, I'm going to have to call it a part here. The newer STOS episodes have way more effort put into their storytelling, with lots more dialogue put in, and as such, every mission is just way heavier in conversation, which I love, especially with the cinematics added, but it does inflate the mission times to an awkward length where every episode would otherwise be like 50 minutes long if I didn't split them in 2, which I don't always have time to put together. So apologies for all these split missions that have been coming up frequently. I hate to do it, but yeah. Sorry. Lastly, it's clear that we are now dealing with the Mirror Universe Lorca. So from what point do you think he was replaced? Did it happen before we even arrived? Mirror Lorca says it was when he was returning from the surface of Prior's world, so it would make sense if our Lorca was doing the same, but we didn't see any of that during this mission. Was it when we beamed him off the escape pod, which means it would have been our Lorca who destroyed the ship? Or was it the dodgy site-to-site transport we did on the surface? The last one has the most likely technological component, but least fits the timeline according to Mirror Lorca. I'll leave it to you to decide exactly when for yourself, but I think it was before we arrived. But maybe that's because I can't understand why a captain would scuttle their ship and emerge the only survivor. So, thank you for watching this part of the Star Trek Online story series, and we'll pick up again next week, and I hope to see you there as we continue to explore the ever-changing narrative of Star Trek Online. I've been Rick, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.